You are born in the year 1691 in the pirate port of Blackwater Bay during a storm so violent that 3 ships sink, 2 taverns lose their roofs, and a cow somehow ends up on a church tower. The moment you enter the world, the doctor takes one look at you and says, "This child is either destined to become a legendary pirate or the village idiot." As the years pass, everyone realizes there is no reason you cannot become both. Even as a toddler, your talent for making terrible decisions is extraordinary. At age 3, you attempt to hide from your parents during a game of hide-and-seek and accidentally spend 6 hours trapped inside an empty barrel because you forget how to get out. At age 4, you discover that digging holes is fun and decide to dig all the way to another country using a spoon. After 3 weeks of hard work, you proudly announce that you have reached the center of the earth. In reality, you have created a hole less than 3 feet deep. At age 6, you try fishing and somehow catch your own hat. Nobody understands how, not even you. At age 8, you bury your lunch because you think treasure hunters bury valuable things. Then you draw a treasure map, lose the map, and spend the next year searching for a sandwich that was eaten by seagulls before sunset. School does not go well. The teacher asks what 2 plus 2 equals. You answer, treasure. The teacher asks where the capital of England is. You answer, probably in a treasure chest. The teacher asks what the sun is made of. You answer, very hot treasure. Eventually, the teacher stops asking questions because every answer somehow becomes treasure. One day, the class is asked to write about their future careers. Other children write about becoming blacksmiths, merchants, sailors, or soldiers. You write a detailed plan explaining how you intend to become a pirate captain despite having absolutely no useful pirate skills. Your teacher writes in the margin, ambitious, extremely unlikely. At age 14, you attempt several normal jobs. You become a baker for 3 days until you accidentally burn 40 loaves of bread and somehow set fire to a bucket of water. You become a fisherman for 1 week, but spend most of your time talking to fish and asking them to swim into your net voluntarily. You become a stable boy, but get lost while walking a horse and return home without it. Eventually, your exhausted parents sit you down and discuss your future. After considering all available options, they conclude that piracy is the only profession where your level of confusion might actually be useful. When you announce your intention to join a pirate crew, your mother cries. Your father cries too, but mostly from laughter. At 16, you arrive at the docks and apply to join a pirate ship called the Sea Ferret. The captain, a terrifying giant named Bloody Morgan, interviews you personally. He asks if you can sail. No. Navigate? No. Fight? No. Repair ships? No. Read maps? Barely. Swim? Not very well. Cook? Absolutely not. Then why should I hire you? He asks. You think carefully before answering. Because if something goes wrong, everyone will be relieved it wasn't their fault. The captain laughs so hard he hires you immediately. Your first day is unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. Before the ship leaves the harbor, you fall into the water. While being rescued, you fall into the water again. Later that afternoon, you become trapped inside a sail. By evening, you accidentally lock yourself inside a storage room and spend 3 hours yelling for help despite the door opening inward. The crew quickly realizes that you are perhaps the least qualified pirate in the history of piracy. They also discovered that watching you work is more entertaining than any tavern performance. Life at sea is not what you expected. You imagined thrilling adventures, piles of gold, and heroic battles. Instead, most days involve cleaning decks, repairing ropes, carrying barrels, and trying not to die from stupidity. You once spent an entire afternoon polishing a cannon that was already painted black because you believe you can make it extra black. Another time, you volunteer to stand lookout and become so fascinated by a cloud shaped like a potato that you fail to notice an entire enemy ship approaching. When the captain demands an explanation, you point at the cloud and say, "Look at it. That's the most potato-shaped cloud I've ever seen." For the next 5 years, the crew called you Potato Eyes.
Your first treasure hunt is a disaster. The crew follows an ancient map to a mysterious island and spend 10 hours digging. Finally, they uncover a large chest. Everyone cheers. The captain dramatically opens it. Inside is another map and a note reading, "Keep looking." One pirate immediately quits. Another starts crying. You were thrilled because you love maps. The crew reminds you that you cannot read them. Years pass, and somehow you survive, not because you become skilled, but because luck seems determined to protect you. During your first real naval battle, you panic, trip over a rope, crash into a loaded cannon, and accidentally fire it. The cannonball smashes directly into the enemy captain's cabin. Believing this was a deliberate act of incredible precision, the enemy ship surrenders. Suddenly, you're a hero. Stories spread across the seas about your legendary aim. Nobody knows that you were actually trying to run away when it happened. As your reputation grows, so do the myths. Sailors claim you can hit targets from impossible distances. They say you can navigate by the stars. Some even believe you possess supernatural powers. In reality, you once became lost inside a tavern and required directions to find the exit. Yet every lucky accident strengthens your legend. One evening, while visiting a port town, you meet the love of your life. Her name is Eleanor. She owns a tavern and has the patience of a saint, which is fortunate because she meets you. The first thing you say to her is, "Excuse me, is this the harbor?" Despite clearly standing inside a building. For reasons nobody understands, she finds this amusing. Over the following months, you attempt to impress her. You write poetry so terrible that local scholars study it as a warning. You attempt singing and are chased by dogs. You attempt dancing and accidentally knock over 3 tables. Yet, Eleanor continues seeing you. Eventually, she admits that compared to most pirates, you are surprisingly harmless. You consider this the greatest compliment of your life. The wedding is complete chaos. Half the guests arrive drunk. One pirate accidentally attends the wrong wedding and marries the wrong woman. The cake is stolen twice. A parrot insults the priest during the ceremony. Yet, somehow, everything works out. By now, you've been a pirate for nearly 20 years. Something strange begins happening. Competent people keep leaving. One navigator retires. Another joins the Navy. A third disappears while attempting to prove he can jump between ships. Gradually, through a process nobody can fully explain, you receive promotion after promotion. Eventually, only one rank remains above you: Captain. When old Bloody Morgan retires, the crew gathers to select a replacement. To your complete shock, they choose you. You assume there's been some mistake. There has, but nobody notices. As captain, your adventures become even more ridiculous. During one voyage, your navigator accidentally sails directly into an enemy fleet. The enemy commander sees your ship charging towards them without hesitation and assumes it must be part of an ingenious strategy. Terrified, he surrenders. During another battle, you drop your sword overboard before fighting begins. Rather than admit the mistake, you announce, "A true captain requires no weapon." The crew applauds. You spend the rest of the battle hiding behind barrels. Your crew becomes wealthy despite your leadership rather than because of it. Treasure maps seem to find you. Storms blow hidden messages onto your deck. Rival pirates accidentally reveal secret locations while insulting you. Once, while running from an enemy ship, you crash into a hidden cave filled with gold. Historians later describe your career as the most successful sequence of accidents ever recorded. By middle age, songs are being written about you. Most are completely inaccurate. According to popular legends, you defeated a sea monster the size of an island. In reality, you screamed at a whale because you thought it was a floating rock. Stories claim you discovered a lost kingdom. Actually, you simply wandered into the wrong harbor. Legends say you survived impossible storms through courage and skill. The truth is that you spent most storms hiding under a table and apologizing to the ocean. Old age arrives before you realize it. Your beard turns white. Your knees creak louder than the ship. You begin forgetting things constantly. Unfortunately, this change is difficult for people to notice because your memory was never particularly impressive. You lose maps, hats, boots, and occasionally entire conversations. Once, you spent 3 days searching for your glasses before Eleanor points out that they are already on your face. Despite everything, you become a living legend. Young pirates travel from distant lands just to hear your stories. Every time you tell one, it becomes slightly more dramatic. A small fish becomes a shark becomes a sea monster. A strong wind becomes a hurricane. After enough years, even you start believing your own stories. At 97 years old, you retire. You purchase a small island and plan to spend your remaining years relaxing. Unfortunately, treasure hunters constantly arrive looking for your legendary fortune. Tired of answering questions, you begin burying random household objects around the island. People discover spoons, boots, old socks, and broken chairs and proudly declare them priceless artifacts. One man spends 6 months excavating what turns out to be your garden shed. Finally, at the age of 100, surrounded by family, friends, pirates, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, parrots, and several people who are still confused by your decisions from 40 years ago, you lie peacefully in bed. Everyone knows the end is near. A young grandson steps forward. "Grandfather," he says, "before you go, tell us where your greatest treasure is hidden." The room becomes silent. Pirates lean closer. Maps are unrolled. Pens are prepared. You slowly open your eyes. At last, the greatest mystery in pirate history will be solved. You smile. The treasure is buried beneath. Everyone waits. Beneath, people lean closer. Beneath, several minutes pass. The silence becomes unbearable. Finally, Eleanor sighs. "You forgot again, didn't you?" You nod. Completely. The room groans in disappointment. Then, suddenly, your eyes widen. "Wait! I remember!" Everyone jumps to attention. The treasure, yes, was probably spent on snacks. And with that, you peacefully leave the world. For the next 100 years, treasure hunters search every island, cave, beach, and shipwreck connected to your name. Entire fortunes are spent. Expeditions cross oceans. Scholars write books. Historians argue endlessly. Eventually, someone discovers your financial records. The mystery is solved. There was never a hidden treasure. Over the course of your life, you spent nearly every coin you ever earned on food, oversized hats, decorative parrots, unnecessary maps, fancy boots you immediately lost, and a gold-plated chair that broke the first day you sat on it. Even after this revelation, your legend only grows. Statues are built, songs are sung, books are written. Children dream of becoming pirates like you. Not because you were the strongest pirate, not because you were the smartest, not because you were the bravest, but because somehow, against all logic, reason, and probability, you managed to become one of the most famous pirates in pirate history while having absolutely no idea what you were doing.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this unbelievable story of history's most accidentally successful pirate, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our next historical adventure. Your support helps us create more entertaining documentaries filled with strange, funny, and fascinating stories from the past. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. Which moment made you laugh the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. And remember, sometimes the greatest legends aren't made by perfection, but by never giving up. See you in the next adventure.